What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I hope you like this video. This is going to be your review for Falcon Crest Season 3, Episode 16. We're doing a little flashback, or throwback Thursday, I should say. So, we start this episode off. We have Maggie and Chase, and Maggie is telling Chase that Richard really doesn't want her to write the article on his mom, on Jacqueline. And Chase is like, well, I don't understand what the problem is. I mean, I know my mama, she has some secrets and stuff, but write the article. Like, say what needs to be said. And Maggie was like, for real? She said, well, I'm going to go talk to Angela later on today and try to get some information. He was like, let me know how that work out for you. So Maggie goes to talk to Angela, and of course, Angela didn't have no love for Jacqueline. And she is like, why are you writing an article on this woman? Like, why are we acting like this woman was a good person, but she really wasn't. She wasn't a nice person. She wasn't a good person. She had a whole lot of what with her, and I don't understand why we having this conversation. She said, but since you insist, you might want to call the nuns over to the little orphanage situation over in Europe, and she might be able to give you a real, earful about Miss Jacqueline. Okay. So while this is going on, Richard is still working on this racetrack situation. He has like this chef going through this restaurant that he wants to build and all the things he's gonna do with this restaurant. And Richard was like, okay, but what about the racetrack? He was like, what you mean? Like, I cook. I don't care about no racetrack. He said, well, listen, my restaurant is about the racetrack. So, I don't need fancy works of art. I need you to be able to look out and people be able to see the racetrack. So that's what I need you to do. Now, while this is going on, the cartel then call, and the cartel again is still threatening Richard, and Richard is still telling them, y'all don't scare me. I'm not worried about y'all. I don't care what y'all talking about. I'm gonna do what I want to do. This is my racetrack. It's my party. I'm gonna cry if I want to, kind of thing. So later on that night, Richard and his secretary, they on their way out, and they leaving the office, and they gonna go to dinner. And baby, it's a car running through that parking lot trying to kill Richard, okay? And she ends up saving him, but baby, that car was about to run Richard right on over, and it was more than a threat, okay? Now, while all of that is going on, Philip then rolled up on Melissa and said, yeah, so I hear that the and Grady crops are ready. And she was like, I don't know why you worried about it. I don't have no deal with Falcon Crest. He was like, oh, but you do. He said, you don't remember signing that contract? She said, the contract that I destroyed? He said, oh, you thought you had the original? Baby, here's the original right here. And that agreement is still binding. Okay? Nope. And so, of course, Melissa is like, you got to be kidding me. Like, because, of course, she promised those crops to Richard. Now, while this is going on, Michael is down at the hospital trying to talk to the sheriff, and the sheriff mad at Michael because, remember, the sheriff didn't want nobody doing his surgery except for Michael. But Michael couldn't go through with this, so he done found out that Michael didn't actually do his surgery, and so he's in his feelings about it, and he feeling some kind of way about Michael doing his surgery. And Michael was like, look, you got the best that I could give you, okay? And then he goes over to Cole's daddy-in-law, and he tries to take him an exercise bike. He said, listen, if you're not going to come into the hospital and do your post-operation exercises, then at the very least you need to do them. So here's an exercise bike for you. And that man told Michael, listen, I'm going to die. I'm not doing nothing extra to prolong my death, okay? Leave me alone, and you can take that bike wherever the hell you got it from. Now, over to Falcon Crest. Lance informs Angela that Melissa, that somebody done bought up Melissa's crops from right up under them. And she was like, what? What are you talking about? Like, we need to find out what's going on with these crops. And Philip was sitting there like the chastised cat talking about something. Oh, I got them. They mine. And Angela was like, oh, so you bought them for us? Cool, thank you. He was like, nah, I'm gonna harvest them myself. And of course, Angela is feeling some kind of way because y'all already know that Angela she really don't be appreciating. She already don't trust Philip, and she ain't appreciating the situation, right? Now, while this is going on, Melissa runs down to Chase to let Chase know that Philip done bought up the crops and that Philip done duped her and double crossed her and he done bought these crops. And so of course Chase is like, well, why Philip trying to get in the game? Like what Philip got going on? And Melissa was like, look, I don't know. But I just thought I would give you the 411 so you could do whatever it is that you need to do to handle the situation. And so of course Chase is like, all right then. Then she has to go and let Richard know that she don't have them crops no more. Baby Richard said, so you done let them trick you out of them crops? And she was like, I didn't let them do anything. They tricked me. I didn't know. He was like, okay, well, I really don't have no more use for you. And she was like, but Richard, we have a good thing going. You're the father of my child. He said, okay, let's stop all the games. You know and I know I ain't that baby's daddy. Okay? And since I can't, these crops, which is really what I've been holding on to, since I'm not going to get them crops, like, it's been real. Like, do you, girl. It's been cool. So, of course, Melissa she really in her feelings now because she just thought Richard was going to be her ticket out of this marriage with Lance and she was going to land on her feet. But, baby, that is not to be. So, Michael and Maggie's sister child, she is trying to, I don't really know the game she playing, right? Because she trying to get Michael to propose to her and all of this because that's what she told Angela she would do. And Michael ain't really feeling it. So Michael comes home from the hospital. I mean, he feeling being with her, but he ain't feeling marriage. And she tells him she wants to go out. And he was like, look, I'm tired. Can we just stay at home and can we have some Netflix and chill? And she was like, look, you can stay here and Netflix and chill, but I'm going out. Now, I don't know what the problem is. So she ends up basically telling him, either we going out, either you going out with me or, we going out. Like, I don't know. So they end up going out. But instead of going to like a nice restaurant and having a nice dinner, she takes him to some old hole-in-the-wall honky-tonk bar where she knows it's going to be an issue. And she's basically testing him to get him to like fight for her love or something. And he ain't gonna do it. That's just not his style. Like, the guy came over and basically disrespected him and was flirting with her all in his face. And Michael was like, look, let's get out of here. She was like, so you wasn't gonna fight for me? Like, you wasn't gonna stand up for me? And he was like, look, that ain't my style. Like, that's just not how I roll. Okay, that's not how I roll. Okay. So Chase confronts Angela, and he once again reminds Angela, you are not supposed to be interfering in the business of Falcon Crest. And Angela was like, what you talking about? And he said, what about Philip buying up all them grapes? And she said, I don't have nothing to do with that. Philip did what Philip did on his own. And of course, Chase doesn't believe her, even though on this one, she's actually telling the truth. And then Richard tells Melissa he want his $200,000 back that he fronted her for them grapes that he ain't getting. Okay. Now, while all of this is going on, Maggie then called down to the convent to talk to the nun about Chase's mama, only to find out that the nun had just died like a couple of months earlier. However, there is another woman that she can talk to, but that woman now lives in New Orleans, right? And Chase is like, well, go ahead and go to New Orleans. Like, it's just a little plane ride. I can't go, but go ahead and take care of it, right? Handle it. Now, while this is going on, Maggie's sister is still sleeping with Lance, right? She's still sneaking away in the middle of the night to go see Lance. And I don't know, that's just not going to end very well for anybody involved. Because, of course, we know Lance don't care, child. Lance don't really give a care. Now, Michael goes to talk to Chase about all that he got going on between Maggie's sister and the surgery, and Chase tells him, listen, you don't have nothing to feel bad about. Like, I get it. You couldn't save your wife. You dealing with the ghost of that. But at the end of the day, you are still a good surgeon. And, you really got to find a way to get past this. And as far as Maggie's sister, you probably need to stop messing with her because she ain't shit. Okay? That's pretty much how that conversation went. Angela. Now, Chase is still trying to find a new supplier for Falcon Crest because remember the other guy, he's in cahoots with Angela and he said he can't do it. So Chase goes to the rival of the other guy, thinking, you know, he been wanting Falcon Crest's business all these years, and now he gonna have an opportunity to get Falcon Crest's business. So the guy, you know, they go through the rigmarole. He shows them the harvest and all of that, and they even toast to it over a bottle of wine, right? In the meantime, Angela is still buying up all the grapes that she can afford to buy up. She said, I don't care what they do with these grapes. They can turn them into Kool-Aid for all I care, as long as Chase doesn't get them. And I'm, you know, basically it's going to mess him up. Well, Chase think that he really got a new supplier or whatever, only to find out at the end the supplier tell him, yeah, thanks but no thanks. I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able to do this business. And, of course, Angela got to him, made him an offer he couldn't refuse, right? Richard, after almost losing his life in that parking garage, he goes to the head of the cartel and he says, look, call off your dogs or I'm going to be forced to do something I don't want to do. And we found out that Richard got dirt on the head of the cartel, that he keeping double books and he hiding money from the conglomerate, I guess. I don't know. And of course, Richard says, if you don't back up off me, I'm gonna be forced to let everybody know what I know. Just leave me alone. Let me have my little racetrack and let me live how I'm gonna live. I don't understand why y'all don't understand what the problem is here. I done told you I don't want to do no business with y'all, and I want this to be mine, all mine. Why y'all can't just let me have it? So Maggie makes it down to New Orleans to talk to the nun. And baby, she gets an earful. Of course, she finds out what we already knew about Jacqueline, that she was really working for the Nazis, and that we already knew that she sold Richard, but that she was working for the Nazis, and that's how she made her money and her fortune off of the back of the Nazis. Okay, so Melissa is desperate, okay? Lance don't want her. Richard don't want her. So now she makes a play for Cole. And she done slid up in Cole's bed. Now, I don't know how Melissa done got in the man's house. But not only did she get in his house, she is in his bed. And, of course, he comes home. And just as Melissa reaches up to kiss him, his wife walks in. And, of course, she believes it until Cole convinces her that it's not true. Blah, 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 blah. Like, I feel like we've seen this play before. Melissa, you done this before, okay? It's getting old and it's getting stale and it's just getting tired. It's the same story, same song, different, you know, same, y'all know, same song, different, whatever it go, however it go. The cartel still ain't trying to back up off of Richard, and they try to threaten the secretary to try to get to Richard. Now, she's shaking, but she is not stirred, okay? She is like, listen, I know that's what you want from me. I know you want to see me cower and be scared and all of that, but baby, that's not what you're getting from me. That is not what you're going to get from me, okay? And that's pretty much the episode. Y'all let me know what y'all think. I'll talk to y'all later.